Good morning, afternoon, and evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kurojiri Smolgami once again, and this is your resident tinkerer and Medarotter of the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, this week is not only going to be the wrap-up and final week of the Gridman Universe collab, but also a little bit of a celebratory week as well. As you see up there at the top, this is actually the 100th episode of the Medarot News Network that has officially gone live and delivered Medarot news here to the West for the Western community and all involved. Not just as a way to keep us involved, but also essentially serve as that bridge and spearhead to help unite the Eastern and the Western communities and show Imagineer just how much we care and how much we love our small fighting robots. So I do want to take a moment and say thank you so much for following me through this journey thus far. The 2-year anniversary is just around the corner in about another month as of today, but that does mean that, and I honestly have, if I break character for a minute, I honestly don't have a really big idea on what to do about that just yet, but I still have time to figure that out. But back to the official news itself, this week, as I mentioned, we are going to be officially wrapping up the Gridman Universe collab in a Wave 3 with the final 2 models that were introduced with the initial promo video, Grid Universe and Grid Burn Knight. That being said, let's go ahead and jump right into what was announced for this week as the final week and essentially the grand finale to highlight and kind of close out the Gridman collab as a whole. Starting of which are the gacha banners, and highlighting that is GDM01 Grid Burn Knight with a kit of Anti-Jammer, Anti-Float, Kurojiri, and Flight Legs and the leg ability of Elusive. Now, a lot of folks actually were kind of misreading Anti-Float for a little bit initially, thinking essentially it would be just Float Suppress, which we already have for male bots. But no, in fact, after reading it and looking into it in more detail, it looks like Anti-Float is essentially going to be just what Anti-Sea and Anti-Air are to their respective leg types, which means boss bots like Spinag and Artemis and even Deathglare to a point as well will now shake and cower in fear at the might that is Anti-Float. Anti-Jammer essentially is another brand new skill being introduced, which, going over briefly, will convert the incoming anti-damage from, say, Anti-Air or Anti-Sea to convert to basic damage and not the massive blowout damage that it is capable of. GDM03 Grid Universe and the iconic model and staple model of the collab will be showing up behind him with a kit of Big Bang, Spark Shot, ACG Shot, Biped Legs, and the new leg ability of Confront. Now, much like Grid Burn Knight, Grid Universe also is packing some new skills to the table. Big Bang in particular is a rather confusing skill. It did take me a little bit to actually figure this one out, and I'm still not 100% confident in it, but explaining it briefly based on what I understand, if it targets a part that is the enemy's highest HP part, it is instantly broken up to a point. If it does not target that part and attacks them, it will instead heal them. Or if it attacks a meta change target, it will be normal damage. Spark Shot and ACG Shot we've seen before, so nothing really big and new, but Confront is another brand new skill being introduced into the game, which, simply explained, will buff all leg stats by 20%, excluding heavy limit and armor, if you are tackling and attacking an opponent that has a higher charge gauge than you upon your turn. So both of these right from the start are introducing some very, very nasty skills right from start. That would be some very handy skills to have under the belt and in the libraries. Lastly, in terms of new bots or rerun bots this week, we are seeing the long-awaited rerun of KXK01 Cross Messiah Z, with a kit of Full Charge Kai, Spark Shot, Spark Strike, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Anger. And for those that do have Cross Z already or missed him the first time and watched my first initial review, he also is capable of transforming into a tank-based form, and in this design he exchanges his kit out entirely for Overcharge, ACG Shot, Force Control, Tank Legs, and the leg ability of G Control. So right from start, including the collab bots we have already, we have some very, very powerful bots that we had at our disposal and available for us to pull from. Naturally, you would want to put a lot of emphasis and priority on the collab bots first, and while Crossy is most certainly a very tempting target to go after, I think Grid Burn Knight and Full Power Grid are definitely going to be the 2 really big collab bots you absolutely want to make sure you do not close this collab without. With the fierce battles we have this week, it's going to be a relatively lower key, of course, starting the line with JEL0 Perunun Jelly with Triple Missile, tank legs and the leg ability of Fortress. Behind him we have CCD0 Semi-Cicade with a kit of Melee Trap, Double Break, Flight Legs and the leg ability of Nest. And then last but not least, MDK0 Hemadacker with a kit of Repair, Double Wave, Sea Legs, and the leg ability of Adapter. Now, of course, as seen here, we do have some relatively lower, well, not quite lower tier, but some very mixed versatile skills to be had and to be earned. If you are a new player or a rookie Medarotter, it certainly would not hurt to have these guys in your disposal, even if you only raise them to 3-star to have on hand. That being said, for an MVP of the week, I would honestly have to give it to Semi-Cicade, not necessarily for being the best all-rounded model, because Perudu, Jelly, and Hemadacker both have very good legs you could make use of, but with Semi-Cicade having Break and very well-rounded kit of Melee Trap and Nest in his kit, you could capitalize on him just a little bit faster and a little bit easier, especially when it comes to dealing heavy punish to enemies. Now, with the event itself, and the release of Grid Universe and Grid Burn Night, we are getting the last 2 collab skins and alt skins that were available and made and revealed in the initial promo video. Grid Universe taking on the appearance of Cross Z, and Grid Burn Night taking on the appearance of Cross Messiah OG. Now, much like the Luminous Stag Full Power Grid and the Kaiser Beetle Kaiser Grid, these skins are paid bundles, which means you will actually have to sink some IRL money into the game to collect them, but they do also give you some extra rubies you can use to pull towards the gacha if you are running low on resources. Now again, just as a friendly reminder, these skins are strictly aesthetic and nothing more, so there is nothing to be had from them. They are literally just there to look pretty if you so feel led to collect them. With the event itself, for the third wave, we are getting the second Super Invasion and EX trial to be joining the game. Now again, much like the first, it very likely will have just overclocked medals on all enemies, so it will be a very easy, very quick in and out if you know what you're doing. So go in with your best teams, your best builds, and pretty much go in there and lay waste to any and all enemies that stand in your way. Make sure that you do collect it for the 10 Cyplasium and 10 rubies you can get upon completion, and of course the profile nameplate you can use as another token and commemorative badge to show that you were part of the collaboration and the events that it offered. With the event itself, we are getting a Wave 3 for yet another medal and more rewards to be found as this week's event closes. Starting of which, for that, we do have an opportunity yet again to collect collab skin and R-rank Medarotters Fubuki and Kirara. So if you have not had the chance to collect them already, my first question though would be why? Because it is moderately easy to collect those, but all the same, you do have another opportunity if you did miss them. And then you also have the opportunity to collect the Designer Medal, which is a Speed Nature Medal with a Mastery in Melee, Shooting, and Support, and Leg Masteries in Biped, Tank, and Flight. And then, last but not least, you also have the opportunity to collect 2 more profile banners that you can use on your nameplate to showcase and again show that you were part of this collab and which model was your favorite of those that were collected. With the event itself, unlike this current event, which is point ticket based, this event instead is milestone based, which means pure sets will be encouraged. So as a way to essentially wrap up in a grand finale to it, we will be seeing Grid Universe and Burn Night offering the highest bonus per part at 15% each. Full Power Grid, Kaiser Grid, and Cross Messiah Z, who's joining us this week, will give you a 9% bonus per part equipped. OG Cross Messiah giving you an 8%, and the Fierce Battle giving you a 6% bonus per part cumulatively. Of course, with Medarotters, it is going to be the same case. The SR Medarotters introduced will give you a 20% bonus per one equipped. The R-rank Medarotters, Fubuki and Kirara, a 10% bonus each, and all other highlighted at a 5% each cumulatively. So again, this event is milestone based, and you want to absolutely capitalize on pure sets if you want to maximize your victory points upon completion. So this is where you get to really have fun with your team builds and just kind of let them have fun and enjoy the aesthetic of the pure builds with this event. It very likely will only be 1 week though, so make sure you capitalize on those rewards and collect them as quickly as possible so that they don't pass you by. On the community front, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any translation projects, so if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, we are more than appreciative of any efforts that you'd be willing to provide. Right now, efforts are going towards Medarot 3 and Medarot 4 right now. The Medarot 3 game currently passing over 60% completion, but there still is a lot of text that needs cleaned and implemented into the game. Same can be said for Medarot 4, which is only still undergoing the initial decompilation, which essentially will give us an idea of what needs to be done and how much of a template we could carry over from 3 to make work a little easier. Then lastly, Medarot Reloaded manga we also are looking for help on, so if you are knowledgeable in cleaning, coding, or Japanese, or know someone who would love to help out on a project, feel free to send them our way. Join our Discord in the link provided and in the comments below, and that'll allow you to allow us to fill you in on what all has been done and what still needs done up to this point. Now with the weekly art highlights here on the MNN, of course I always love picking up art to highlight and showcase, and honestly it makes it really difficult at this point to pick just 2 pieces to highlight because there's just so much good art out there. But starting in the lineup with this piece here by Twitter user Bamboo Ciano, I do hope I did pronounce that correctly, highlighting Momoiro Maple, the Rosy Maple Moth type, which is a newcomer to Medarot S, designing basically essentially as a mixed range and ailment fighter, and essentially just kind of an interrupter kind of fighter in general. But always a very cute, very lovable, and very fluffy model at that. Wonderful work, and definitely give them a follow if you want to see more art in your feed. And this piece here by Twitter user Tagro Chang, the official Tagro no less, highlighting a piece kind of what-if concept art showing what Particle's eyes might look like underneath that visor it has. Now it was just kind of a what-if scenario, so it's not officially legit or canon or whatnot, but Tagro of course is the one responsible for a good chunk of the designs from 5, a couple of the earlier designs from R, and actually also came back for a good chunk of designs that are currently implemented in Medarot S as one of their official artists. So definitely give Mr. Tagro a follow as well if you'd like to see more Medarot art in your feed, or even showcase when a new model comes out and it's one that he designed. But with all that being said, I do appreciate you all for stopping by just as you always do, but I believe this is pretty much wrapping up what comes out this week. So not a whole lot of new stuff essentially, as the Gridman Universe collab is kind of the big thing that we're all highlighted on right now. But I do also want to highlight yet again that this is the 100th episode of the Medarot News Network here, and I want to take a moment and say thank you so much for following me through this ongoing endeavor to bring you Medarot news. If you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community on there. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below if you'd like to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. This will be the first place you hear any new news of merchandise, my weekly episodes, fan art, development, or fan translation updates. That's the first place you'll hear it before it goes anywhere else. You can also reach out to me personally on Twitter at IsaGamiKura, so if you have any questions or feedback or comments, or would love just to stop in and say hello, I leave my DMs open for this very reason. Alternatively to this, if you are a streamer or VTuber who somehow finds me and would love to collaborate or have me guest host on your channel or you on mine, definitely reach out to me and I'd love to coordinate with you and try to make something happen. Definitely give these pages a follow as well. The first one, I am going to toot my own horn here on my channel because, well, it is my channel, I can do what I want. The Twitter page Project Unison, which is a side channel that I do run with some friends of mine, and we just kind of play games and have fun. We have had a little bit of a hiatus over the last couple of weeks because one of my buds is currently having a PC issue, essentially driver or cooling fan failure, but he is working on getting that fixed, and we will try to have stuff back up and running once everything is going and ready to go. And Twitter user Aaliyah here, at AaliyahVT, is a new friend of mine I made just fairly recently, and I'm highlighting her primarily for the reason that she and I are actually partnering together on a new VTuber server and channel that we are working on. This is a way to kind of help network and coordinate for collaborations, or if you're new to the game and want to collect some resources or assets, or would love to pick up some tips and tricks for those who have been in the biz for a while. I will include a link to that as well in the link in the comments below as well, if you would like to join that and keep in touch. But with all that being said, I do believe that covers everything here on the MNN. So with that being said, and as always, thank you so much for your continued support and appreciation for my channel. Until next time, this is your host, Kurojiri of the Medarot News Network, signing out.